The strategy I have been telling people we need to do for a long time when it comes to third parties turns out could be a little too late to the ball game. What I'm seeing on the horizon, in all honesty, is the potential end of our country. In all honesty, we're spread all throughout the war or the world, raging war. Okay, we have no good job market. We have a war machine instead. We have no good healthcare system. We got big pharma. We got a government who does not do anything for the people. They do more for the donors, the ultra wealthy, yada, 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 yada. They're literally taking this country down the road to demise. And you best believe that when it happens, they'll run off somewhere else, live comfortably for the rest of their lives, for the most part, okay? But I've been telling a lot of folks, look, the issue with the third party stuff is you're starting at the top and putting all your focus on the presidency. I've said that when I've gone to other people's channels a lot. It's been a serious criticism I've got for the third party strategy. Whereas I've been more vocal, you need to be putting more focus on mayors, gubernatorial races, congressional seats, senator races. You need to be focusing on chipping away at the foundations that's been propping up the Democrats and the Republicans. Because if you can make a big enough dent in the House and the Senate, that Republican or Democrat president's got quite a time on his hands because he's got to coordinate with you now to get crap passed. If he gets nothing passed, what's his chances of re-election? And if people get that, message across when they've got you in the House and the Senate and they realize you're keeping things, the bad things from being done, you can make your case at that point. Now you've got real good chances of winning the presidency at that point. It's a strategic game. Unfortunately, I don't know that the country is at the place now because of how close we are to the brink of a war amongst ourselves. We can afford to wait and play out this ground game strategy. And it turns out, even if you were to start right this second focusing on grassroots, building and trying to build this system more from the floor up like it should have been done in the first place, someone has beaten you to it. Now, of course, it would have been a matter of time before big money would have gotten involved anyway, okay? It would have been only just a matter of time. But big money's already involved and you haven't even started. And what we have found out recently is just how much money George Soros has been pumping into local and state elections. What does that mean? The wealthy is already buying the federal elections. They've already bought Capitol Hill. They were getting involved in certain state races, but now they're throwing big money at it. Time's up. You've waited around. You've drugged your feet. You have poorly planned the entire thing, and our country is sitting on the fence of civil war. Time's up. I don't foresee us making it long enough for this to have a serious go. And based on what I'm seeing this election cycle, I don't see where third parties are going to have some big sweep and unseat a bunch of Democrats and Republicans. And because of what has just happened, which I'll be addressing in another video about the Supreme Court seat, because of the Supreme Court, because of COVID-19, because of Black Lives Matter, because of the defund the police, because of all these different things, people are sitting on the edge of really taking to the streets and having serious revolution or civil war, potentially both. People are going to take to the streets with the intent of revolution, and with the current tensions in the country, it's going to provoke civil war, in my opinion. I don't think we're far from it. We're hearing the ideas floated about the red mirage, which is going to look like Trump won on election night. As days go by, Joe Biden wins, and then boom. The Trumpers are pissed. They're going to yell election rigging. Is there going to be something to them saying it? You can't rule it out. I don't know how much truth it's going to have, but you certainly can't rule it out. We are talking about the Democrats. The Democratic Party who rigged a primary in 2016. The Democrat Party who probably did some rigging in this one. We know for sure they had a few questionable coin tosses at the Iowa caucus, Mayor Pete. So people are too pissed. People are too fueled and riled up. It's too late for the third parties right now to make it go. Now, do not get me wrong. I'm not trying to deter anyone from voting third party. Until it hits the fan, I still advocate to do the right thing. What I'm saying at this point is for my third party colleagues out there, for the Libertarians, for the Greens, for this People's Party that still hasn't really gotten off the ground and done a whole lot of nothing. You're coming out on the field in the fourth quarter with 30 seconds left on the clock, and you've been absent for the whole game. You came out during the timeouts and peeked around, which would be the presidential elections. But where were you during the serious ground game building? Where were you trying to interact with communities across the country? See, where did you go? Like, did the Libertarian Party as a whole go to places in the country where it's up for grabs? For example, what we used to call purple states could go Democrat, could go Republican. People teeter the fence, right? And again, about half the country considers themselves independent. But go to those purple states where predominant people were possibly able to go either way and say, look, you like something here, you like something here. Maybe let me throw another option at you. You keep going back and forth between these two. Maybe let me let you hear my option. Maybe you'll like mine better. When was anything like this done to build grassroots movements amongst communities? Because I don't really recall ever hearing anything about it. And now, we'll have to see what the numbers reflect at the end of the day. I'm certainly not one to buy into the polls hook, line, and sinker. We saw how that turned out in 2016 with what the polls were saying. But arguably, we could be potentially on track to get less votes than we got in 2016 as libertarians. The third party stuff, I'm still all for it. But I'm afraid if we got serious today, and next week, the Libertarians were having town hall events and community barbecues and whatever, and inviting people out to get the Libertarian message. If we start having this thing tomorrow, I don't know that you're going to be able to save the country. I don't know that you've got the time on your side. We are teetering, and I'm telling you, right now, the match is sitting beside the gasoline, or take that back, not even a match, but a butane lighter. It's sitting down, the top is open, the flame is burning. All around this thing is gasoline. And there's a breeze coming through. You know what that means? Two possibilities. Either that lighter goes over and lights the big blaze, or we get very lucky and it just blows the flame out. But we are in dangerous territory right now as a society. And once again, even if we got them elected, one thing I continuously notice is where people's mind and mentality is at today. And honestly, it is abysmal. It is abysmal how many people truly care about their country when you get out there and actually start talking to folks. Because they take no time to truly try to educate themselves in what's going on in the world around them. It's too boring. Interferes with me getting on Snapchat, and it interferes with my TikTok time. I'm like, look, I've got manicures to go get, and like I've got all these different things to do, and I don't really give a fuck to listen to politics. I mean, it's just so fucking boring. That is what so many people's mentality is. Meanwhile, like I said, our world is literally on the brink of civil war. We've got riots in the streets. We've got all kinds of job issues, and people can't, for all these years, get their heads out of their asses enough for themselves to quit voting for the problem. And then the people who are trying to become an alternative go about it in a pitiful way by focusing all their effort onto one seat, which even if you won, Democrats and Republicans would screw you over if you didn't take at least a chunk of the House or the Senate. You would have to take a chunk of one or the other along with the presidency when you won the presidency. So it's a good idea to get a chunk out of one of those first and then really go for the presidency. But no. We're just going to focus on the presidency. Because assuming we got Libertarian or Green Party presidents, they would then hit the White House, and I guess we would throw checks and balances out the window because they're going to legislate like a king just to get all the right things done, right? No, they'll impeach your ass. Once again, the Democrats and Republicans, they always seem like bitter mortal enemies until they have a common enemy. Then they will be best friends. Why? Because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, third parties, you're the real enemy. And if the Democrats are your enemy, they'll be my friend. Vice versa. From a Democrat point of view, I don't like you third parties. If the Republicans don't like you either, they're my friend. That's what's going to happen. Because guess what? The big donors fund the both of them. They don't really fund the third parties. Why? No one's taking it seriously. No one's taking it seriously because you've had bad ground game. No one's taking it seriously because you put all your eggs in the wrong basket. So again, I'm not trying to deter anyone to go vote for Biden or Trump. God, no. But understand, we are in dangerous territory here. And Libertarians, Green Party, whomever wants to take themselves seriously. Right now, I would say the Libertarians take themselves more seriously than the Green Party. The Green Party is a dysfunctional mess, in my opinion. But for the Libertarians out there, if you really want to stand half a chance at anything, understand how to play the game. Now, I'm no master politician. I'm not like Nancy Pelosi, where I'm a master legislator, or however she worded herself to Chris Wallace on Fox News a couple of years ago. Okay? But I'm watching what's going on. And I have what we dumb blue-collar folk call common sense. See, I'm able to look at something and observe and kind of say, okay, so that's how it works. And in most places, structures are built from the ground up. I would say Capitol Hill's no different. The president is not a king. He can try to make executive order after executive order, but guess what? There's still a Congress. And the best way to start really putting a cripple effect on the Dems and the Repubs, chip away at Congress and the Senate. That should be the focus. They're going to be easier races to win, and you get more exposure the more of them you win. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. So that's a big message that I have right now for the third parties out there. We've got to change this marketing strategy, and be wary. Even if you do, You could have waited around a little too late with the powder keg of a country that we are right now.